Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, everybody, and welcome to this session. I'm very excited to be presenting to the UK because this jacket I bought in the UK for 41 quid on my gap year back last century in 1991. And so, yeah, it's nice to be wearing it again. It's still going strong, the old tweed. And look, let's get straight into it. It's still going strong as I am, despite all the bumps and bruises along the way. And, you know, that's life. But I know that had I known this information a little earlier, I'd say life would have been a lot easier. But then again, I wouldn't have the purpose in sharing this with you today had it happened any other way. And as you will learn from me, everything that's happened is perfect in its own imperfections. So let's get started. As this is the manual on how to use your brand. Our billion-dollar biotechnology that I don't know about you, but that we never learn to use. I might just take this jacket off as we really get going. First of all, a little story. My brother, my dad, and I have a brother. There he is on the right-hand side, the perfect specimen intellectually and physically. Whilst I had to fight hard for every mark and every ribbon. He's my beautiful dad. You know, sadly, we lost him a month ago. It's hard to fathom, and the pain was very acute a month ago. And the reason why I talk about my great dad was despite him having a lot to be happy about, there were certainly things going on in his mind that made it a torture chamber for him, particularly in his last 15 years. And again, had he learnt these things, it could have been different. It could have been better. He's my brother, the big stud. Here he is winning the Combined Associated Schools 200-metre championship back in '93. You know, he reached close to the summit of world sport, got injured permanently. And I think in doing that, it could have been to do with what was going on in his mind. He overdid it in the weights room and yet turned it around, made millions of dollars in income as an investment banker and enjoyed incredible life experiences that very few do, got married. But then, you know, he lost both the marriage and the big jobs, developed a brain tumor, and, you know, he is not in a great space right now. He was unable to even come and see his father for the last time, and he's in a lot of pain. He's really hurting. And then there's me. I won my first ribbon, my blue ribbon, when I was 10. And, you know, I was plagued by limiting beliefs and insecurities growing up, and I was constantly comparing myself to my brother, believing that something must be wrong with me. However, since learning this information, life has slowly transformed with a definite knowing the best is yet to come. And this is really important to note. Imagine this. The universe is rigged for us. Everything that happens is taking us to our best place, so we can live our best life. That is just a great way to set your default mindset. So first of all, let's loosen up our mind and remove this victim mentality. You know, life will give you the ability to experience things if you let it. So we have the power to manifest reality, and nothing changes with if. Why do I believe in you? It's because, well, when you apply these principles, life can transform on a dime, on a pence, on a cent, on a rupee, on a euro, on a Brazilian centavos, or wherever you may be. And look, let's try to be kind and respectful and on purpose, faithful, grateful for whatever we have, loving in the face of complete opposites, as opposed to the alternative you see there, cynical, backstabbing, spiteful, because these people are not enlightened. Have you ever met a happy cynic? And let's let go of trying to control the outcome. Well, all we can control is how we show up each day. And if we can do this, we can allow the outcome to take care of itself. So don't take stuff so seriously or let things stick. If you give something significance, then it can really poison your mind in a negative way. Or if it's something positive, it can really enhance your mindset. But this really is your best strategy. Don't hang on to things that have hurt you in the past. It does not serve you well. And compared to what, according to who? Now, that is something that we can always use when we read the paper or when people wish to influence you or throw things at you in terms of information. Always go back to this default position. Compared to what? According to who? It works really well and gives you a bit of perspective and when to know when to run with the crowd or the herd that you will learn about and when to separate yourself from the masses. So we're going to look at the 6 faculties of the mind, 6 ways of improving how you see the world. And here is the first one. Reason. Everything we see or own started as a thought. Reason is what gives us the ability to really think, to be consciously aware of the thoughts and ideas that come to our mind and to choose to reject or accept them into our reality. And the freedom to choose and control what we think. Here we see the caveman, you know, the phone, the car, the laptop, all those things you see there started as a thought. And all the caveman is doing is figuring out how to get from A to B and finding matches to help him or her get there. Here we have a bomb protest in Greece, but the news will make it out as terrorism. Again, compared to what, according to who? And great leaders do say that everything we become, or what we become, is what we think about. Everything we see or own started off as a thought, just like we see here. You know, thought for most people can be these things: fear-based, self-limiting, thought contagion, which is when community thoughts spiral out of control, and that voice in your head that just keeps crapping on your dreams. 96% of people are doing this and are dead or dead broke by 65 years of age. 2, memory. There is no such thing as a bad memory, only a weak memory. That's not a picture of me, by the way. That's Arnold Schwarzenegger. So what are the purposes, you know, of memory? The more you use, the better you get. Practice pulling up a picture in your head. Start with phone numbers. First 4 numbers, and the next 3, then the next 3. And, you know, as opposed to what we do as teachers, which is getting students to summarize and summarize and summarize, you know, if you do have a crap or a weak memory, you tend to write stuff down. And every time you double check something to see if you could check that answer again. And this validates the belief that you have a crap memory. So, excuse the French. So really, you need to build your memory like Arnie Schwarzenegger was building his muscles. And once you build it, it's like the foundations of a house that last forever. Of course, memory requires interest. We cannot remember what we find irrelevant or insignificant. It is interest that creates aptitude. I know for me personally, I I can tell you a number of sporting statistics. It's incredible. How do they get in there? I don't know. But obviously, at some level, it was of enormous interest to me, and that's why it's still there. Also, follow your heart and your passion, or you're not going to think you're as sharp as you could be. Practice building those memories. Start small and build up. 3, perception. What can you see here? Bart Simpson? A goblet? Or is it 2 faces? How do you create your point of view? I mean, is this a man-eater? And has this lady really got her head in a hole? You see, at the end of the day, we are sheeple. What we need to do is look at life both through the herd and with our own eyes and note the subtle distinctions. You need to be free to do either when it makes sense. Independent perception is the prerequisite to amazing results. You can see here, this lady is saying, everyone is out for themselves and I will prove it to you. You know, they will prove it because in their circle of influence, that becomes a fact. But that is what they are manifesting. There are 2 sides to everything. See it for yourself. The way you sum it up, they become self-fulfilling prophecies, just like whether this is Bart Simpson, a goblet, or 2 faces. Will, I love this image. What will do you have to stay focused? All the people who are trying to not create amazing, like this guy here, although he is quite amazing. What we need to do is put the blinders on and block out the distractions, and the better you are, the better you perform. The power of will is to focus on one thing to the exception of everything else. In the words of Napoleon, all I see is my objective and everything else falls away. Fosse! Vive la Fosse! 5, intuition. You know, great results come from acting on intuition. Hitting a giant is easier than hitting rabbits, according to young David in the great biblical story of David and Goliath. He thought and he knew, which was better than trying and doing. Thinking and knowing, better than trying and doing. You know, the potential punishment was horrible, but he refused to consider it. Maybe like some of those English soccer players in the penalty shootout. You just need to focus on what you need to do and forget how high the penalty is for failure. David knew he could do it, nor praying or hoping. And you have to be in doubt to have these affirmations. Thinking and knowing is better than trying and doing. I think Yoda had something to do with that as well. Yoda, you must not try, you must do. Slightly different, but you get the point. So, me personally, I am willing to pay the price. You know, you can walk on that 6-inch wide concrete, whether it's 1 foot or 1,000 feet in the air. So be able to see the cause and effect without the unwanted considerations. Intuition is the byproduct of a decided trust and a high level of trust of the process. Trust the process. Imagination, here's Captain Caveman again. Does anyone remember that cartoon? You're showing your age if you do. My age, at least. So again, everything started off as a thought. It sort of links again to reason, but it's a little bit different. Imagination, you know, great Einstein, examples and experiments. He would look to see what would happen, imagining what might happen. And that's the purpose test. You know, I think he did about 10,000 tests until he actually got the answer. Imagine if he gave up. And initiate a pattern. See a real potentiality that you might manifest, creating the pattern in the universe for that to happen. Again, everything that you see was once imagined, the phone, the car, etc. And also, people think about what they do not want and their energy attracts it. So, no stinking thinking. So, how do I distract it? Pick up a book to help me beat those urges and addictions, or imagination is your test universe. Test, 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 just like Einstein did. And imagination can get stronger. Imagine what some of these people like Elon Musk and Richard Branson came up with. Mother Teresa, in terms of her capacity to give and give and give. All knowledge and ideas also are omnipresent. They are constant. They are everywhere. So what's next? Well, internal versus external reality. You know, we all have our internal reality. We look into our mind, we see what we think is reality. But if we look into the world, compared to our mind, the physical world, as opposed to our mind, which is the external reality, and we find new distinctions, and we find that our internal reality is not 100% correct. However, the older we get, the less willing we are to question that. And that leads to this circular thinking. You know, I don't like people like that sort of think they know it all, but until a couple of years ago, that was me. Another concept is collapsing the field. You know, we all have a belief about the way life is. And as soon as you decide that it is a certain way, we collapse the field. So what we need to do is reopen the field, and there are infinite possibilities about what you can do in this life. Seeing the subliminal. Now, below the threshold of conscious is an awareness. For example, and advertising does this so well. You know, you're watching a movie and for 1/24th of a second, they do a very strategic product placement of Coca-Cola. And before you know it, half the audience is leaving the theatre to grab a Coke. And we can't figure out why our life isn't everything we want it to be. We want to reverse that and start a massive upward slide. So seeing that subconscious level and making it very obvious to you. The love and gratitude compass. So with our success, we want to stay grounded and with an open heart. You know, if I say that to some of my friends, they might think, oh, you're a bit of a softie, Nathan. I think I might beat you up. You're a walkover. You can be a doormat. But this knowing your truth and standing for your truth and knowing your moral compass is so important. Get connected to the love and gratitude compass is a big daily practice. Stop doing what you had to do. Instead, do what you want to do and stay connected with your heart. And unbelievable shifts can happen. Believe. And then we have the sixth sense zone. You know, the ultimate goal is to get in the flow with above thinking or higher thinking. You know, most of us get frustrated and we take these timid half steps and then we're not completely committed. I'm not sure about this. I don't know about this. And therefore, you only go halfway. You never get to where you want to when you're walking the plank from A to B, trying to find those matches to help you get there. Try to be like learning to surf or snowboard. Here, you are not thinking. You are responding, not reacting. And it's fun, it's exciting, and it's not draining. It feels great. There are some daily exercises that you can do to help you. First of all is the media makeover. Choose what you fill your mind with. It's like filling your body with good nutrition. If you're looking at the news every day or at people trolling each other on various Instagram accounts, then imagine what your mindset's going to be like. So fill it with good stuff. Fill it with good food for the brain, food for the mind. Secondly, give everybody a pass. Give them a pass. Otherwise, it's poison. Okay, let it go. That's the best way to be. Big one, again, give everybody a pass mark. Let it go. Otherwise, it is poison. And the only person that's poisoning is you. 3, laugh and smile with others more. You've got to laugh. You've got to enjoy yourself. And that naturally is good for the body. It's a antidote to stress, and the impacts of stress on the body are debilitating, particularly over a long period of time. 4, visualize the goal and visualize yourself achieving this a different way, subtly, every single time. It's a little bit like my story. I was planning on living in Brazil. Instead, I'm living with Brazilians in Sydney. 5, visualize a mental shift is happening slightly, okay? A slight shift. That means that you are improving and getting a little bit better with every day. Call someone and say why you are grateful for them. It is an amazing thing to do. You feel amazing and they will feel amazing too. It's good. Good for the soul. Commit and recommit to finishing this course. Well, look, this isn't a course. This is a one-day thing, but I would recommend you go over this over and over again and use this for you. And finally, when anything negative occurs, do what it takes to turn it into a positive, no matter what. Always find the light in the darkness, the silver lining in the grey clouds. And remember this, that you are the supreme authority over your observations to set you free. So in conclusion, free yourself from the herd mentality. Think about what is your purpose. The sooner you find a purpose in life, the rest falls into place. What is your goal? Set your goal. And don't worry about the how, when, or where. You will get there, but you'll achieve it slightly differently every day. And block out your distractions. Stay on target. Use the power of will to get you there. You've got this. Thank you very much, everyone, for participating and listening to this. And I really believe if you take this on board, amazing things can happen. A better world through education. Thanks, guys. And take care. Remember, the best is yet to come, and the universe is rigged for you, not against you.